Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Brandon Scott and I teach high school English at the Early Middle College at DTCC Greensboro, and today I'm going to be talking about our Core 3 Module 4.4 and our Canvas certification course, which focuses completely on aspects of personalization. Now, the personalization that I wanted to focus on in my lesson was authentic student choice, which focuses on giving students the choice, the opportunity to make decisions in the classroom, not only on what they do, but also like timelines for how they get things done, maybe due dates, things like that, and it becomes more of a community rather than a delegation for them. I incorporate Canvas pages, Canvas assignments, and Canvas discussion boards in this lesson, and I'm going to show you how I do that as I go through the lesson overall. So I've decided to create in Canvas a final project for my students' reading of The Crucible by Arthur Miller, and that is at the end of Unit 4. We are currently in Unit 3, so I haven't had a chance yet to incorporate this lesson with my students, but I'm hoping to very, very soon, now that I've already had all of this stuff created. What I'm going to do now is show you my Canvas course. So as you can see here, we have my home screen, which is the same as it always has been, but I'm gonna click pages, and it's in pages rather than the agenda or the modules right now because I haven't assigned it to my students. Like I said, we haven't gotten to this point yet, so I am just focusing on incorporating that when we get there. But if I click the Crucible Final Project page, everything that they will need for this assignment is in this one page. Okay, they have access to other pages, they have access to their assignment, and they have access to the discussion board. So I'm gonna zoom out so you can kind of see in its entirety what this table looks like, because I incorporated images in this specific table to give students more interactivity with their choice in my Canvas classroom. So as we can see here, it says The Crucible Final Project with a picture of the Poppet, aka the voodoo doll, that is very important to the Crucible story overall. Then below that, we have 5 choices that students can make for this final project. They are more like suggestions, ideas for things that they can do in their project. At least 4 of them are. And then the 5th one is a free space category where students are able to click that and come up with their own idea. Obviously, they're still gonna have to propose that idea to me and get approved for that proposal. However, I still wanted to give my students the opportunity to maybe create something that I would never have thought of, right? I created podcast interview, modernized script, movie poster, and scene reenactment, which are great ideas for projects, and students in the past have done an amazing job with these. However, there are so many other things that they can do, and we'll get into it when I click on the free space button, of course. But like I said, we have the podcast interview button with a microphone, the modernized script button with a script picture, we have the movie poster button with a movie poster picture, and then the scene reenactment button with the camera picture. Then we have the free space, which is, again, come up with your own with a picture of the brain, because the students are going to be using their brain to come up with their own. And at the bottom, we see the click here for your assignment, where it's a hyperlink to the actual assignment where they'll be uploading their submission. And obviously, we have a judge as the picture because 1, I'm going to be judging their final projects, but 2, judges are a very, very important aspect of the Crucible, and it's still an aspect of the story that I want to incorporate in this page. So now I'm going to zoom back in to 100% so you can kind of see up close what everything looks like. There we go. So we have the Crucible Final Project. And like I said before, if they click on these buttons, they are taken to a separate page. So first I'm going to click Podcast Interview. And when clicking that, you see the project description that students have, as well as resources that they can use for this specific project. So for this one, for example, it says create your own podcast with an interesting name related to the Crucible, where you will be going over all of Salem's hot gossip and interviewing a specific character of your choice from the play. You will need to play the parts of both the podcast host and the character you choose to interview. Your podcast must be at least 7 to 10 minutes long. Now for resources on the side, I included an NPR article, which is a great resource for how to start a podcast. Like, students may be wondering, what is a podcast? How do I get started? What tools will I need to complete this goal? And that article highlights all of that for them right there. And then we have suggestions for tools. They can use voice recordings on their phone. That's how simple this is. They can access the Stereo app, which I assume is pretty new, but it's a place where people can come together and just create podcasts on the fly. And lastly, YouTube is a great place for podcasts as well. So I gave them those resources there. I'm gonna go back now to our final project page and then show you some of the other ones. So Modernized Script, same thing, it has the project description. And obviously, I include those resources. I include the article where they can read about modernizing scripts in like a 101 fashion. And then I included suggested tools for my students to use: Microsoft Word, Google Docs, Fake Chat app. So this app allows students to create like a fake group chat, and I thought that would be a great way to revamp a script from the Crucible to the modern world, is to use like a group chat thread with the students. So they can do that. Writer Duet, Kit Scenarist, Highland 2, and Page to Stage. These are all applications that students can use to create scripts. Okay, again, I'm gonna go back and then we're gonna look at next the movie poster button. It has the project description, the resource, which again includes an article for them, as well as some suggestions for tools: Canva, PicCollage, Photoshop, Glogster, things like that. I'm gonna go back one more time to show you lastly the scene reenactment bit, which again has the project description, the article that shares insight on how exactly they can complete this project, and then some suggestions for tools like iMovie, YouTube, Google Drive, Vimeo, things like that. And lastly, we have the free space bit. So with that, if you click it, it gives a project description where they will be able to propose whatever idea that they have, and if it's approved, they will be able to move on to that next stage of actually creating it. Some suggestions, some more ideas that I gave that I didn't go into detail about, but I was like, these might be cool to watch. And I know a lot of my students enjoy video games, and specifically like The Sims and Minecraft. And so I included some of those in the idea. So I suggested they could write a poem, recreate the set in Minecraft. They could create the characters in Sims or Roblox and have them reenact a scene, have the characters themselves in the video game reenact scenes, create a newspaper that chronicles the events going on in Salem during the play, or create a comic strip for a specific scene from that play. There are so many other options. Obviously, the choices are endless for my students, but these were just a few extra ideas that I gave them. I know for me, if I was a student, I would kind of like to have them laid out for me, like, here's what you could do, here's some ideas, and then me be able to choose from those. But I know so many other students who would rather take the reins and be like, no, I know what I can do for this. I want to go in this direction with my project, and I find that so commendable. And so I want to give them the opportunity to do that. Not only do students get to have free choice with the project that they would like to submit, but they also get the choice of when their rough draft is due, when their proposal is due, even before the rough draft, and then when their peer edits are due. Obviously, we're going to talk about it as a class and come to a consensus on one specific date for each of those occurrences, but students feel like they have a voice in the classroom and that they have enough time to get exactly what they need to get done. Obviously, it's not going to be outrageous. It's not going to be at the end of the school year. No, like it's not. But you know, it's still giving the students the time that they feel like they need to complete this assignment. Okay. So now I'm going to go back and then show you at the very bottom the click here for your assignment. Click that. So now that we're on the actual assignment page, it says submit your final project as a file or a link for this assignment. If the file size is too large, try uploading it to Google Drive and then sharing the link as your submission. You'll first have to share it with my email address so I can access the link when the time comes. Then it says click here for access to the Crucible final project page in Canvas. They can click that and it takes them back to that page that I initially showed you all. And then we have click here to upload your project to the Crucible final project gallery for all of your peers to see, which is the last portion of this lesson, which is a discussion board post where students will be able to post their projects for all of their students to see in a discussion board. So here we have the Crucible Final Project Gallery, which is I put in the description of the discussion board, and then they'll be able to respond and post their projects while also responding to each other and liking the other classmates' projects as well. So that is all I have here for this specific lesson. Obviously, you saw me linking those resources and external tools for my students to use throughout this specific lesson, but we also do like Nearpods and things like that, which I've already discussed in previous videos. that use external tools for my classroom. I'll also make sure at the end of every unit to do a reflection for my students so that they can provide me with feedback on the unit overall. And again, that just offers them an opportunity to have their voice heard. So that is it for my video. Again, focusing on the aspects of personalization, more specifically the authentic student choice within the Crucible final project that I have planned for my students very soon. Other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for viewing my video, and I will see you for Core 4. Bye.